Most people in life fail to reach their goals because they think that their mind is on the same team as them. Let me tell you, it is absolutely not the case. Absolutely not. For clarification, when I say your mind, I am referring to what we call the reptilian brain as well as the limbic system. For simplicity, let's call it your subconscious mind. We have our thinking brain, called the neocortex, where we make rational decisions with. But for most of our lives, the part that is in control is that subconscious part of us. And so oftentimes we make decisions subconsciously, and then afterwards we start rationalizing why we did that. But we are usually making choices based on emotions and based on our subconscious mind. And let me tell you, that subconscious mind of yours, it is absolutely not designed to help you reach your goals. It is not like designed for your thriving in life. It is designed for you to survive. Humanity has existed for about 300,000 or 400,000 years. And even before that, other primates, other mammals, other animals have had some of the similar, survival instincts that we still have today. And so if you want to reach a higher goal, something you don't have today, it's gonna require you to do things you have never done before. And doing that, it literally goes against 500 million years of evolution, which is why change is so fucking difficult. Here's the thing, reaching a new goal or getting out of your current situation requires you to do new things. It's gonna require you to do things you haven't done before. Your mind fucking hates that. And it hates that for the reason that in prehistoric times, if you went outside of the circle that you knew was safe, there could be predators there could be danger, and so it was a threat to your survival. So when you try to do something you haven't done before, your mind is literally gonna tell you, it's gonna go into panic mode, and it's gonna be like feeling like you're about to die, like you could be in mortal peril. That's how your mind responds. That's a way to get you to stay inside of this comfort zone, this circle that you know is safe. And your mind tries to keep you there in order to preserve you. But we both know that that's not where real life happens. Real life happens when you push your boundaries. Real life happens when you go 100% for that goal. When you go and achieve more than you have right now. Because you wouldn't be here if you were truly 100% satisfied with the life you're living. Let's be honest, right? You are here because you want something more. And if that something requires you to be more confident, the best version of yourself, go below this video where there's a link where you can get an absolutely free training where I share the 3 biggest mistakes that I made in my life that cost me years of my life because I stayed stuck making the same mistakes over and over again. I didn't have any confidence because of these 3 things. And in this free training that you can get below this video, I'm gonna share with you how I got out of there as well. I'm gonna give you the solutions so that you can move forward, become your most confident self, and so that you can use that confidence to then tackle your goals. So one other thing that I want to cover about your mind, your subconscious, is that it always assumes a worst case scenario. And so when you, for example, want to approach someone, your mind immediately goes like, they're gonna reject you, they're gonna hate it, they are gonna be negative, and your mind immediately jumps towards that conclusion. When you go outside of your comfort zone, your mind is gonna be screaming and kicking and trying to dissuade you from doing that thing. Awareness of this is the first step, because otherwise you just feel like, that's just the way it is. I'm telling you that self-awareness to know, oh, so this is what my mind naturally does. And then using that thinking part of your brain, the neocortex, to override it. That is 100% in your ability. And so I want to give you 4 things you can do in order to make this easier. And I would use them in conjunction with each other. Thing number 1 that you can do is you can logically counter this. So you can ask yourself something like, what can really go wrong? Like, just pause there for a moment and be like, it's not like I'm jumping off a building. I'm gonna go say hi to this person I find attractive. Like, how's my life really gonna change if they say I'm not interested? What is the worst they can do? The worst they can do is say no, right? And that rationality can help you feel more secure in that decision. It's gonna help you in making that conscious override of going from your fear that is gonna be there to fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. That's one of the shifts that you can use in this situation. Another thing you can do to logically counter this would be to question your fears. To ask yourself, where's this coming from? Why do I feel this way? And oftentimes you will turn a blank, or you will find a deeply rooted reason. Maybe something happened to you in childhood. For me, for example, I was bullied. So a lot of my confidence issues came from that experience in life, right? But it is once we start questioning our fears, instead of taking them for granted, that we can do something about it. And so that's the first thing you can do. The second thing that you can do in order to expand that comfort zone, in order to become the more confident person, in order to have that mentality of, I am terrified of this thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway, is to prove your fear wrong. And what I mean by this is that by default, your mind is gonna assume the worst case scenario. Your mind's gonna be like, oh, no, don't do that thing, because it's gonna end terribly. When you then say, it's not a big deal because of this, and you do it. And you now prove to yourself that it's okay to take action. You now prove to yourself that this activity is gonna feel safe, right? Your mind's gonna make it like you're dropping off the face of the earth. And by doing it anyway, you prove to yourself that, we did this thing, we were terrified of it, and we're perfectly fine. And that makes it easier to repeat the same behavior the next time, and the next time, and the next time. In conjunction with that, number 3 would be to remind yourself of counter examples. If it's a new activity that you are afraid of, remind yourself of when you have tried new things in the past. And be like, oh, you know what? I tried this thing before. That went well. I tried this thing. That didn't have any negative consequences. And so as you use these counter examples, both of yourself and of the people around you, you are again training your brain to relax a little bit. Because what your mind is truly afraid of is that unknown. And as you do these things, as you prove to yourself by examples and by doing it, that you are gonna be a-okay with taking the unfamiliar actions, now that comfort zone is gonna expand and expand and expand. And as you take these steps, you start moving forward, right? As I said, your mind by default is not on the same team as you. And so you need to take these kinds of measures to override some of the automatic behaviors and instincts that we all have. By the way, if this is resonating with you, give the video a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And then the 4th thing that I want to cover is the following. What I want to ask you, and what I want you to ask yourself is, what is going to go wrong when you don't take action? By default, your mind doesn't want you to do those things that are unfamiliar. But how is it costing you to stay in a state of inactivity? And what you're doing here is that mentally, it feels painful to do something new. It feels painful to do something that takes effort right now, even if the benefit in the future is way greater. That's the present bias, and I've got another video on that as well on my channel here. But the thing is, when you ask yourself, how much is it costing me to stay in inactivity? What you got is you got the cost, the pain, so to speak, of taking action. And when you rationalize this pain of not taking action, now you find a balance there. Now you're like, oh my God, you attach fear to staying still. You attach fear and urgency to like staying stuck where you are. So imagine it's now 3 years into the future and you're still in exactly the same spot that you're in right now in life. How would that make you feel? What would be the impact on your life? The ones you care about, your friends, your family. What would be the impact it has on them? And as you make that rationalization, you are attaching more and more pain to staying stuck. You are attaching more pain to repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And as the pain of staying where you are becomes greater than the pain of moving forward, you will move forward. And so use these 4 techniques in conjunction. And then as a 5th bonus one, what I'm going to give you is to attach consequences and accountability to not taking action. Meaning, for example, if you want to talk to new people at a party, go and hand $200 to a friend and tell them to give you $20 back for each new person you initiate a conversation with. Now there's someone else involved where if you don't do it, you're going to look like a fool and it's going to cost you financially. And again, those 2 things stack more pain with not taking action. So that once that scale tips and it's easier to take the actions, it's less painful to go and do the difficult things, you will see yourself actually doing them because of that reason. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insights of what is going on in here so that you can now work with your mind instead of against it. And I'll see you in the next video right after you have given it a quick thumbs up.